We're Paranormal Answers research team, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different tonight. I'm Jim.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Dale.
And here's Kelly to tell us what that is.
We're going to do a question and answer session. This will be a little weird to people outside of our group, but we have Bob and Peter here. They're two spirits that we're going to ask questions of. A little bit of history is that we met Bob and Peter when we were in Jennings County in Indiana. It's a
hotbed of paranormal activity.
Yeah, words can't describe it. We had a house where there were things going on in one house, and he had another house that was vacant because he couldn't keep any renters there. And they were hanging out at the vacant house, which had many spirits. It was an area where there had been voodoo and black magic practiced by a previous relative. So there was a lot of things going on. And it's also one of those things where Peter looks out after us. He'll make sure that he tells other spirits not to follow us home. You would think we would know because that's exactly what happened. You want to tell them about that, or?
Not really.
Yeah.
That goes into some deep things that we'd rather not discuss with the general public.
Not right now.
No, just know this: that we've accepted them into our home. We know that they look out for us. We know that there is nothing malevolent about their presence there, and they actually have our best interest at heart. So that's all the explanation we need to give.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily start out that way. We weren't sure what followed us home in the beginning, so that's why we always want to tell people out there, when you're going on investigation, you need to say a prayer of protection when you get there, and you need to make sure that you let those spirits know they are not allowed to follow you home. So we have 4 different topics. Everybody's going to kind of ask questions on a certain topic tonight, and we'll see what responses we get. You want to go ahead and start with yours, Jim?
All right. What we'll do here is we'll each ask our own questions. Turn my light out here before I start while I'm talking. We'll each ask our own question. Then we'll give a pause for responses like we would do during an investigation, so that our spirits can reply, and hopefully it comes out audible either on the camera in front of us here or on one of our recorders. You seem to be able to use white noise to create electronic voice phenomena. Are there certain types of white noise you prefer to use? You also seem to be able to manipulate other sounds and voices to your advantage. Is this easy for you? Here's one that's one of my favorite things to ponder. Is it common to mimic our own voices, or is that something that spirits do when communicating with the living?
Down with your questions.
Those are all mine.
Okay. That's a cat. Okay. Or something's wheezing.
We do have some four-legged spirits here with us tonight.
My topic is physical manipulation of objects. You seem to be able to move certain small objects, like I've seen, like plant leaves turn, different things move. Is that something easy for you to do? Does it take a lot of energy? We have to move Kitty.
I have a friend here. Come on, top down.
Furnace just kicked on.
Good, a little extra energy. I know I've seen when certain small appliances kick on that can give you extra energy. Does that help you when you're moving a small object or when you drain batteries? Another thing I've noticed is that it seems like there's a higher level of energy. The air seems more magnetized when there are more spirits in the room. So when there are more of you in one location, do all of you pile your energy together to manipulate things, whether it's moving objects or the voices that we hear? And as far as physical movement of objects, I know sometimes we ask on demand, ask a spirit to move that. Do you think sometimes when we don't get a response, is it because the spirit doesn't know how to do it, or because the spirit just simply doesn't have enough energy, or do you think they just don't want to do it? Next.
When we cross over into the realm, do we go into a period of rest? Do we continue to learn and grow before we reincarnate? Do we have to get things right with our current relationships before we can reincarnate? In other words, would we have to wait for someone else to cross over before we could reincarnate?
right, next.
Alright. Top is visual anomalies. How do you show yourself as a light anomaly? Do you need an extra energy, or is this a conscious thought? Why can some spirits show themselves as a full body apparition? Is it the amount of energy, or is it how they want to present themselves?
Do you have any other questions, or is that all yours?
That's
Okay.
all mine.
Does anybody have any other question?
I don't.
Okay. Peter, Bob, is there something you would like to say to one of us? All right, well, thank you for joining us, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. I don't know where little John is. Or
I think really for the most part, after Jim was starting asking his and Kelly, you asked yours, I'm pretty sure I started hearing like them actually carrying on.
I was hearing the replies.
I heard Peter. Well, I heard Peter's voice.
See, I can't.
I forget when exactly. I think it was when you started talking, Lucy. I think I heard
Yeah,
Peter's
that's
voice.
when I heard it. Definitely.
Yeah,
after
you could,
I started.
and I know Peter's voice. I've heard it on recordings.
And when the furnace kicked on, he used that additional white noise. I noticed his voice got louder.
Mm-hmm.
I was just sitting there. I was like, really? I can actually hear them. I couldn't exactly
It's
point
like
out what they were
echoing.
saying.
Yeah, I could hear. Yeah.
But I actually heard him saying.
It's hard.
We had a meeting shortly after we determined that he had followed us home. We had a meeting with our other group, and there were three of us sitting in our living room, and not everybody had arrived yet. And Kelly says something about Peter's here, and all three of us heard plain as day. It's right in the middle of the room. It was really wild.